The game shopping center at the Accra Mall and other game centers in the capital are the latest to be affected by the compliance action by the Ghana Revenue Authority over failure to integrate their collection database into the electronic VAT system. The action follows a series of engagements with the management of the firms to comply with the new tax regulation, which has failed. The following report has more.
The game shopping centers in the Accra Mall, Achimota Retail Center and the West Hills Mall were the latest target after failing to comply with the electronic tax system being implemented by the Ghana Revenue Authority. The GRA has in recent times embarked on distress actions to get retail shopping centers to use the new electronic system, which began on October 1, 2022. Some customers of Game Shopping Center were seen exiting the facility after an announcement by officials of the center describing it as a technical challenge.
Please exit the store through the nearest exit. Please exit the store through the nearest exit. Thank you.
Accra Area Enforcement Manager Joseph Annan has been explaining what transpired between the compliance team and some of the game officials.
So far, it's only a game that we come and meet customers. Almost all the places we have been to, they lock up their places before we get there. And like I always say, it makes things easier for us. But of course, once you go and meet brisk business running or going on, then obviously you need to talk to somebody. So what we have done throughout the branches that we have been to is to talk to a responsible person. And in most times, it is the managers that we have spoken to so far. And we explain our mission to them. And we want to get them to understand why we are there. And in certain instances, they have even called their superiors to seek clearance from them. And they have been told that, well, then they should allow us to work. So that is what we have done so far. So when you see me talking to these people where we have been to, it's just to explain ourselves to them.
Apart from the main shopping center, its annex, which deals in liquor, at the Achimota and West Hills malls, were also affected by the closure. Joseph Annan told journalists that the GRA is prepared to open the facilities immediately the integration is done.
No, that is what we are seeking for. The direction I was given is so clear. And if they hook their system to our system, I'll be told and be directed to come and open the place up. Because like I always say, we are men under instructions. We act on directives given by our superiors. So we are here on the field because our superiors have asked us to do what we are doing now. And if they ask us to come and open, surely we'll do so.
The exercise has, however, not been pleasant, as brisk businesses are being affected and likely to have an impact on employment for workers.
Away from that, inflation shot up by 3.3% to 37.2% in the month of September, according to the Ghana Statistical Service. This is against 33.9% recorded in August 2022. According to the GSS, food and non-alcoholic beverages were the major drivers of the surge in inflation. Here's government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Enim addressing the press.
For the month of September 2022, Consumer Price Index stood at 140.6 relative to 102.4 that was recorded for the same time in September 2021 based on the new series. So based on the new series, September 2021 Consumer Price Index was 102.4, and based on the new series, Consumer Price Index for the month of September 2022 stood at 140.6. Given these two indices, the year-on-year inflation for the month of September 2022 stood at 37.2%. This means that generally prices of goods and services between September 2021 and September 2022 have gone up by 37.2%. On a month-on-month basis, with a CPI for the month of September 2022 140.6 and August CPI 137.2, month-on-month inflation for the month of September 2022 stood at 2.0%. This literally means that Prices of goods and services between the month of August 2022 and September 2022 went up by 2.0%. Disaggregating the September 2022 rate of inflation from the perspectives of food inflation and non-food inflation, and also from the perspectives of locally produced items and imported items, we saw a 1.1 percentage variation between food inflation and non-food inflation, specifically with food inflation year on year 37.8%, non-food inflation 36.8%. From a monthly perspective, we recorded a 0.5 percentage difference between food inflation and non-food inflation on a month-on-month basis, specifically with food inflation on a month-on-month basis 2.2% and non-food inflation on a month-on-month basis 1.7%.
The Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SSNIT, has announced they will launch the mass enrollment of the informal sector into its scheme by January 2023. According to its Director General, Dr. John Oforitinkrang, the delay of the program was caused by extensive consultation with stakeholders in the sector and the need to ensure the system is fully operational. He has been speaking to us at the employers' breakfast meeting.
Agenda is very well alive because, as I've said, those people form the majority of workers in this country, and they too deserve a pension just like other workers who work in the formal sector. So we need to reach them. In order to do that, we had to do stakeholder engagements to get to understand what their needs are and whether they will embrace our product. We are still and when we did that, those stakeholder engagements, we found out that they are ready to sign on to the SSNIT scheme as is, and because they see the benefits in it. The way the informal sector or the self-employed population is, they are basically organized into groups. If we were trying to enrich each one of them individually, it will be a problem. And that is why we've gone through the various associations to serve as the gateway for us to get access to the people. What we were waiting to do before we do a big launch was that we were waiting to launch a new operational system which allows people to onboard with the Ghana card and all, and the Momo and the direct payments. We're waiting to switch all of them on. Now, thank God, as of yesterday, we've switched on the Momo and the direct debit and so on and so forth. So it's easy for such people to pay. So now that we've done that, we are now putting a few things together, and then within a very short time we are going to do a big launch, and then from then on, you're going to see SSNIT staff leaving their offices and going out to the places where these people are and signing them on with the use of the Ghana card. Oh, I would imagine that latest at the beginning of January, we should be able to get this thing fully running.
Now, government has indicated that the implementation of the textiles tax stamp policy aimed at tackling the influx of pirated and fake textiles in the country will commence on November 1 this year. The implementation modalities of the policy, according to the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, would include having textile stamps attached on all textile prints traded in Ghana. He spoke at the launch of the policy. My colleague Pius Kojobaka has more.
Speaking at the launch of the Ghana Textile Tax Stamp, Minister of Trade and Industry Alan Tremantin stated that government is convinced that the policy measures would lead to the development of the local textile firms to reduce the import of pirated textiles by promoting local manufacturing.
Government, as part of its industrial transformation agenda, has decided to revamp this particular sector, and that is the reason for introducing these policy measures. One of the most important of these measures is the introduction of textile stamps, and this policy is intended to achieve two strategic objectives. One, to ensure that the piracy of designs and the imitation of designs of local manufacturers becomes a thing of the past.
He added that come November 1, all textiles will be affixed with tax stamps to check the influx of pirated and fake textiles in the country.
In terms of implementation, we've given ourselves up to the 1st of March for enforcement or compliance with the policy measures. On the 1st of November, officially the textile transport policy will be rolled out, meaning that both for locally manufactured prints and for imported textile prints that are sold in the market, they should have stamps affixed to them. And we've explained the different color schemes associated with both the imported fabric and the locally manufactured fabric.
Head of Excise at GRA, Kwabena Apau Anto, expressed worry implementation of the policy will be difficult if sensitization is not enhanced.
It is going to be challenging, especially in respect of the stock that is already on the market. And it is important that we emphasize that, the minister said that we have what we call the transitional stamps for those people. And so we need to get the message to the dealers that anybody with any stock at the appropriate time, when we come round to ask them, especially from the 1st of November, you approach any GRA office close to you, take stock, take an inventory of the old stock that you have, and then you apply for quantity of stamps relative to the quantity that you have, and then we will supply that one to you. Because otherwise, then you cannot trade. You cannot trade because it will get to a point that we will enforce the law. When it comes to that, we will do that. Any product on the market without a tax stamp will be seized.
Meanwhile, the implementation of the textile tax stamp policy is not expected to generate additional taxes.
Fairtrade, a leading organizer of professional agro-food and plast print pack trade fairs for Africa and the Middle East, says its events have helped Ghanaian entrepreneurs to expand their businesses by getting access to machinery and finance. According to them, they use innovative ways to connect emerging markets with solution providers from across the globe by facilitating valuable business contacts between exhibitors and trade visitors. Managing Director of Fairtrade, Paul Mars, spoke to the media at the sidelines of a press conference to announce the 7th edition of the event, scheduled to take place from the 29th November to 1st December 2022.
We had exhibitors in the past, for example, displaying food or especially beverage technology, and probably you have noticed how the filling of beverages have upgraded over previous years, and the machinery on which produce the cans or the bottles are machinery from exhibitors that were at the exhibition before and that came into the market through the platform that we provided. So we provide the platform. In the end, it's up to Ghanaian and international companies to make use of it. We as organizers, we provide the platform for this industry.
He also encouraged smaller businesses to take advantage of the 2022 Agrofood and Plast Print Pack Fair to get connected to entities that can help them expand.
We are going to have exhibitors from 13 countries, really from all over the world, displaying the latest technology, the latest products from their respective countries in the entire food and agro-food value chain. So really from field to fork, from production, processing to the final product on the table and everything you need for it, packaging, printing, packaging material. And what's the objective? First, create valuable business contacts between international companies, Ghanaian companies, and within the agro-food and plus print pack industry. And second, very important, to bring production to Ghana, to enhance production in Ghana so that Ghana becomes less dependent of food imports and can produce more in the country, because this brings employment, this brings, in the end, this brings industrialization and jobs and wealth into the country. And this is the objective of the event. And we invite all professionals of the Agrofood and plus print park industry to the event, once again, November 29 to December 1 at the Grand Arena. So first of all, entrance is free of charge. So everybody who is in the industry can participate free of charge. There are specific conference sessions for small enterprises, for SMEs. For example, the finance session will go into detail on how to access financing. There are best practice examples from small enterprises, from Ghanaian enterprises, how to start and how to become successful in the agro-food industry. And then I think the most important is exchange with the exhibitors, because they are really they are professionals. They know they know how to produce, and they can support if somebody has an idea but doesn't know how to implement it. They know how to. And then talking to 20, 30, or at the exhibition we have over 80 companies. Of course, you cannot talk to every company, but talking to those who are interesting for your problem or for your challenge, I think it's very interesting for all small, but also for bigger companies, of course.
To some other stories, the Chief Executive Officer of Prudential Life Insurance Ghana Limited, Dr. Hazel Berard, has underscored the need for financial education among children. Speaking at the premiere of Cha-Ching, a financial literacy cartoon created by Prudence Foundation and GA Africa, she said creating the mindset of managing money from infancy grows with children through adulthood. Here's a report.
Cha-Ching, a cartoon program designed by Prudence Foundation and Junior Achievement Africa, focuses on building a culture of prudent money management and boosting financial literacy among children. Speaking on the importance of financial education for children, Chief Executive Officer of Prudential Life Insurance Ghana Limited, Dr. Berard Amwa, said creating the mindset of managing money from infancy grows with children through to adulthood. This, she believes, will go a long way in building a prudent financial management culture and further contribute to the alleviation of poverty, especially on the African continent.
So I think we've had a very successful program here at the Silverbirds, premiering Cha-Ching. The whole purpose of Cha-Ching really is to help, create a mindset in terms of behavior. From that perspective, also teaching children about how to manage money, which is one that we pass on to life, is very important. So once you understand how to earn, to spend, to save, to donate, and able to make decisions, more responsibly and have financial literacy, that we think is a starting point. So African children, like any other child across the world, needs to understand the use of money for poverty alleviation, for poverty prevention. So once you understand how to earn money well, to save money, to spend wisely, and to donate to charitable causes like the Prudence Foundation, then we can help alleviate poverty in Ghana, in Africa, and across the globe.
Executive Director of Prudence Foundation, Mark Fancy, said the concept to develop financial content for children was inspired by the financial crisis in 2009. According to him, the happenings during that period exposed the misunderstanding of money management concepts, and that birthed Cha-Ching.
We looked at financial education over 10 years ago, and the catalyst was the financial crisis in 2009. And there was an important lesson learned. There was a lot of misunderstanding about financial concepts, and we realized that there was a huge gap around financial education in the world. So we wanted to address that, and we realized that through research, children or humans are most influenced at the age of 7 to 12. So we felt that if we could build a program that was educating children around financial education, money management concepts, then they would have those strong foundations that would help them as they grow older.
The managing director for Junior Achievers Africa, Sime Ngogo, stated that the ultimate goal of the program is to shape the thinking of young Africans into becoming entrepreneurial, prudent financial managers and problem solvers.
In Africa, we graduate over 11 million people from secondary school and university into the workforce every year, but we create 3 million jobs annually. So entrepreneurship is really the only way people can survive. Those 9 million people who are not getting jobs, starting businesses and hiring their peers is the way that we can really develop our economy.
Ching, the cartoon program, began in Asia with support from Junior Achievers worldwide and is available in Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, and Zambia.